my name is Deana Smith and welcome to my first video blog. It's called Butter-Made Foods. So today I'm going to be starting out by experimenting with 2 recipes for Snickerdoodle. You know, when you are searching for a recipe, you often look at 2 or 3 or maybe even 4 recipes. Well, I decided to start this blog because I wanted to give you the chance to see how at least 2 or 3 recipes worked out so that maybe you don't have to go and search around. So all of these are recipes that I found online, and I will be linking the recipes in this video later on. So we're going to start today with the first recipe is called Soft and Thick Snickerdoodles, and this is from the website sallysbakingaddiction.com. One thing that's interesting about this recipe that's going to be different from the other one I'm going to experiment with is that these are thicker. You know, most Snickerdoodle cookies are a little flatter. Sometimes they can be a little slightly crunchy. I happen to like my cookies a little more soft. So that's what drew my attention to this recipe. So let's get out our ingredients and show you what you're going to need. Okay, time to get out our ingredients. I got my trusty recipe here, and I want to make sure you know about an app that I really love. It's called Paprika, and it's like a virtual filing system for your recipes. It's really worthwhile. It is a little pricey for apps. I think it's about $5, but I highly recommend it. All right, I got all my ingredients, and I want to point out a couple things you'll need to know. So you need an egg, but you want it to be at room temperature, so have it sit out for a little while. Your butter, very important, it must be softened at room temperature, not melted. Don't want to put it in the microwave. You can just push on your butter, and if your finger easily pushes through it, makes an indentation, then it's soft enough. Okay, the last thing I want to point out is I want to bring your attention to imitation vanilla. This recipe calls for vanilla extract, and normally you would never think of using imitation vanilla, but I read a book called 8 Flavors, The Untold Story of American Cuisine by Sarah Lohman. And in this book, she reviewed the history of vanilla. And what she learned is that when you are cooking at high heat, which many cookie recipes are, the pure vanilla just bakes off. So if you use imitation vanilla, you actually retain a much better vanilla flavor. So I have made Snickerdoodle cookies before, not this recipe, but in another recipe, I switched out for imitation vanilla, and I can attest it tasted really good. And I actually made 2 batches, one with the pure vanilla and one with imitation, and I could tell the difference. So my recommendation is that you use imitation vanilla. Okay, time to get baking. The recipe that we're using is called Soft and Thick Snickerdoodle Cookies from sallysbakingaddiction.com. So this is what the dough will look like, and I've got my helper here right now. He's gonna help roll the dough into the cinnamon sugar. I'm gonna use my handy melon baller, or I'm not sure exactly the formal name of this. This is perfect to make a rounded cookie ball. Okay, you ready, helper?
Yeah, right.
All right, so I'm gonna roll it around. They're gonna be pretty big balls here, and then Colin is gonna roll it all the way around so that it gets coated in the cinnamon sugar.
Ooh.
Good job. All right, here you go. And we're gonna place these 3 inches apart when we get all of them on there. So that's too close together right now, but.
Oh, you want me to put right here?
Okay. And stop. Okay, we've got our first batch out. They look great. The recipe says that we want to flatten them a little bit with a back of a spoon because they're very puffy. And I put them a good amount apart so they do not run into each other. And then we're going to cool them on the pan for 10 minutes. That's all we're gonna do. Now it's time to try our second recipe. This is called Mrs. Siggy's Snickerdoodles, and it's from allrecipes.com. So there's two main differences with this recipe. First of all, it calls for half a cup of shortening and a half a cup of butter, also softened. So that'll be different, as the other recipe was all butter. There's an extra egg in this one. And also this one calls for vanilla extract, and this time we're going to use pure vanilla extract. Okay, now let's get cooking. We're ready to roll our dough, and I'm using the same melon baller, so about the same size. And this recipe calls for the placement to be 2 inches apart. I would say overall this recipe seemed to go a little faster, so it's a little simpler in the preparation. Okay, we're gonna get these in the oven and then we'll be ready for our taste test. Okay, now we're ready for our taste test. We've got our tasters here. So Colin, why don't you tell us which plate are you gonna try first? And then Dad will pick the same one.
I would try this one.
Okay. We'll go for this one first. What is this? Is Cookie B.
Good.
Soft. I like the softness. Sweet, but not too sweet.
What do you think, Colin? What else?
A little cinnamony, but it tastes very good.
Okay, time to try Cookie A. Go ahead, take one.
Definitely Cookie A. No question, Cookie A wins.
Cookie A, the one you're eating right now?
Yeah. This
Interesting.
one is
A
way
little
better.
too hard, but it's way better than Cookie B.
You think it's way better than Cookie B? But just a little hard.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's more firm. And I think I like that about a cookie. I like the cookie being a little more firm. But it's not hard. It's not like crispy. I don't like crispy cookies.
Okay.
Definitely when the taste is way better.
You agree. Cookie A. Okay. So the winner is the Snickerdoodle cookie from Sally's Baking Addiction. And just want to point out the two differences is that this was made with all butter. Cookie B was made with half butter, half shortening. And if you remember, this was the cookie that was made with the imitation vanilla. Thanks. Check us out again. And all the links for the cookie recipes are in the video.
And be sure to like and subscribe.